My name is Dustin Vung, and thank you for parking your butt with me today. Welcome to the first episode, the pilot of the Park Your Butt podcast. A quick introduction for those of you guys who are new, who have never seen me before or heard of me before. My name is Dustin. I'm a Vietnamese Chinese American creative. I, scarily enough, have grew up on the internet my entire life since I was a teeny weeny child. I don't know who let me do that, but with that, inevitably, I became a YouTuber. I started out as a YouTuber, and of course, with the whole content creator, social media influencer thing, when you do one platform, you gotta do it all. So I also post on TikTok, so maybe you've seen me. I mean, I don't know by the time I post this if it's gonna be deleted or not. My opinions on that, I don't care. It's gotten boring for me personally. I guess selfishly, I don't care if it gets deleted. It's kind of just like whatever, Just I rarely ever go on it other than when I post my stupid stuff on there for fun. But other than that, like I feel like if TikTok gets deleted, it personally for me will not affect me that much. But I do feel bad for those who are gonna get hugely impacted by that, which is really sad. But yeah, and also another selfish thing, I feel like if TikTok gets deleted, it will be really just healthy for all of us so that we don't just doom scroll all our life. I feel like TikTok is just really bad for us all. Oh, there's a freaking bug in here. What the hell? And now also if TikTok gets deleted, I feel like more people will go back to YouTube, which honestly is one of my favorite platforms. And I feel like it's just been dead the past few years and I need new creators to watch and I need the community to start booming again on YouTube because I really miss when YouTube was such a community and everybody was friends and there's challenges and tags going on. And I don't know, when YouTube was thriving, I really love that era. It was very, very wholesome. And I feel like also with YouTube, it's a bit more impactful. It's a bit more useful for the world. I think it's just a healthier way of consuming social media. And I find YouTube videos a bit more memorable than TikToks. Anyway, that was first of many tangents I'm going to be going on this podcast. Holy crap. I don't even know how I went on that tangent. Like I was just introducing myself and then I just started freaking, I don't know, improving. I don't freaking know. Other than the whole content creation thing, I'm also just an overall creative. I make music. I am a singer-songwriter. If you guys want to listen to my music, it's Dustin Vung on Spotify and all other platforms. What are other things about me? I'm from California and currently still live in California. I'm forever, I think, a California boy. I like drawing, painting. I recently have been getting back into watercoloring, even though I suck ass at it and no technical skills of that. I kind of just bought myself Japanese watercolors a few years back and I never used them. So recently I've just kind of been like opening up a sketchbook and like watercoloring for fun. No technique at all. I know no technique with watercolors. My skills more rely in graphite and acrylic paint. I actually haven't painted in like years or like made an actual art piece in years. So I don't even know if I can say I like those things. I like to dance. But do I? Because I haven't been in a dance class for a year. But I used to dance throughout high school, hip hop, was in the hip hop club and stuff like that. Used to take classes up until last year for fun, but also because I had no friends when I lived in LA. And that was how I filled my time, was literally I would go to concerts alone. I would go to dance classes alone. And I would go to the movies alone. Maybe I'll do a whole episode on that, on like how to be alone and stuff like that. Because I was like, or like a whole episode about LA too. I feel like that could be a cool episode. Let me know, guys, what kind of episodes you guys would like topics for me to talk about. I feel like LA and how to be alone would be really good topics. From that, yeah, I did live in LA for the past almost 3 years. And I recently moved back to Northern California in Sacramento, which is where I'm originally from, because I decided I wanted, well, first of all, that LA was not for me, at least for now. I feel like I had my fun there, but I was there for almost 3 years and I needed something new. So I decided to leave and I wanted to travel. And this past summer, I went backpacking around the world for 3.5 months. I went around Europe, Asia, and Australia. And that was pretty crazy. That's honestly really crazy that I can like say that about my lore. Like, yeah, I went backpacking for 3.5 months around Asia and Europe and Australia. What can I say? In my early 20s, I can't wait till I'm old and I can tell people that, like, yeah, look at what I did in my early 20s. I don't know. And yeah, now I'm done with that and officially back in Sacramento full time. I say that, but I literally leave, I feel like, every month to go somewhere else. Like I've been going to freaking Seattle, Chicago. But yeah, that's pretty much me. I'm a Gemini. If y'all need that, I don't know my big three. People always ask me for my big three and I always have to go on Snapchat and look it up. Like I literally have to go onto the Snapchat go into my horoscope in Snapchat to tell people my big three because I never remember. I feel like Cancer's in there and Libra. I want to say. I don't know which one, rising, whatever the fuck. I don't know, but I think those are in there. I like interior design. I like film. I like fashion, thrifting and shit. I don't know. You guys will learn more about me throughout this podcast, I feel like. Oh, first topic I want to talk about is why I started a podcast. If you guys have been long viewers of mine, you might remember me being like, oh, I would never want to start a podcast. Well, what can I say? I'm a hypocrite. What can I say? One thing about me, I'm a hypocrite. Because here I am starting a podcast. Also, if you guys are wondering what I'm holding, this is my microphone. I know it looks really weird because there's a sock on it. I put a sock on it because I didn't want to have to spend any money on this podcast, or like at least at the starting point. Like, I want to make sure I actually am going to stick with this and be consistent with it before I start actually investing money into it. So I didn't want to like buy a new microphone for this podcast. I didn't want to like buy a pop filter or like a little foam thing. And I have no professional equipment. Okay. Literally what I'm using is my microphone that I use to record my music, which honestly, quite a good microphone. And I needed a pop filter, which I have one, but it's like gigantic. So I took a sock and put it on top because I've seen people do that. And now this is my pop filter. I'm wearing these old ass headphones that I've had for years. I've had all this equipment for years. The leather is peeling off of it. And I have my little Scarlett 2i2 audio interface thing as well. So I'm recording to Logic. Literally, I'm using all the things I already had because I refused to spend money on this. Actually, as I'm filming this, I'm thinking about commissioning my friend to make me a little intro and like artwork for the whole podcast and the branding and the channel and stuff like that. But a part of me is still debating. Maybe that's a season 2 kind of thing. Maybe a season 2, that's when I'll upgrade. I'll have a proper intro. I'll have intro music. I'll have good artwork and stuff like that. We'll see. Y'all have to listen to this podcast, and maybe once I start making some money off this podcast, I can start investing back into it, okay? And I guess if you guys want to, I guess this is a perfect way to segue into Patreon. Yes, Patreon. I don't know if to tell it early because I know we're just only like a few minutes in. But if you guys would like to give me some extra support and support the Patreon, so maybe we can afford a proper intro and intro music and artwork for the channel, here's my Patreon. Subscribe to it if you want. Also, with every episode each week, I will be releasing a 30-minute extended portion onto Patreon. So if you guys want like extra 30 minutes each week of the podcast, go onto Patreon. It'll be there. And also, there's already like a bunch of other content on there as well, and videos and stuff that I've already filmed previously for like my YouTube channel and stuff. So if you guys just want extra content in general of me, go to Patreon. Patreon. I feel like Trisha Paytas. Oh, that's a good segue back to what I was talking about, why I started a podcast. Trisha Paytas. Yeah, Trisha Paytas is why I started a podcast. Because I really love the Just Trish podcast so much. It's one of my favorite podcasts. I subscribe to her Patreon. Like that's how much I love that podcast so much. And also Emergency Intercom and stuff like that. Like I genuinely just really love listening to podcasts. With the Just Trish podcast specifically, that was just like the fuel that, or the spark that fueled the fire of me starting a podcast. And another reason is with my YouTube channel, I feel like I don't really get to talk a lot in my YouTube videos just because, you know, I feel this need to kind of not make my YouTube videos too long. So I try to stick under like around 20 minutes or under, and it kind of restricts my personality a little bit. I'm just the type of person who can talk a lot, who goes on a lot of tangents, who makes a lot of jokes. And I find myself having to cut a lot of that out of my YouTube videos, where I feel like I do a good job at like balancing everything, making sure the storytelling is good and the video progresses in a well, you know, watchable way. But I feel like when I read comments sometimes, like I posted this really, really long YouTube video, like the longest YouTube video I've ever posted. It was my Coachella, like my first time going to Coachella and camping with strangers video. And it was almost an hour long. And I got a bunch of comments being like, oh my God, Dustin, like I did not know you were this funny. Like, okay, that sounds like I'm tuning my own horn. But you know what? Toot toot. A lot of the comments were just being like, Dustin, I did not know you were this funny, because the video was like hella long and like kind of crazy, and I left honestly a lot of stuff in, and it was more comedic. And I thought before I leave funny things in all the time. Like I feel like a big part of my YouTube videos is I put in my humor, but maybe not. Like I feel like I do, but I guess people weren't really picking up on that because when I read the comments on that YouTube video, people were like, I did not know you're this funny, Dustin, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, oh shit, okay. Well then, all right, okay. Honestly, I don't blame you guys because I think a big part of that is because I kind of fall under the aesthetic lifestyle niche category. And I feel like being funny and being aesthetic don't really go hand in hand that well when it comes to like making a YouTube video because it's like a lot of it's like pretty montages and stuff like that. And I'm not gonna just throw in like a fucking your mom joke. Actually, that's such a lie. I throw that in all the time. I do that all the time. I'm not gonna throw in a fucking dick joke or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So, because it kind of kills the whole aesthetic vibe. So I feel very restricted, even though that's a huge part of my personality. You know what I'm saying? Like a big part of my personality is like cracking jokes. I wouldn't say I'm funny. Like I don't think I'm funny. I feel like funny is a very strong word and is reserved for actual comedians, like people who actually do stand up and people who are constantly on and can constantly be funny and can constantly make people laugh. Yeah, I can't do that. I feel like my humor is very specific and, you know, it doesn't hit with everybody. It's a very acquired taste, you know what I'm saying? And also, I don't think I'm really that funny. Like, I'm not the type of person who's just like cracking jokes all the time. I think I would call myself witty. I think witty is a good word for me. I am a circumstantial type of funny. Like if something happens, I can crack a joke. I'm really fast, quick on my feet, can make a little joke here and there. Maybe I say something weird and funny. I don't know. But that's the kind of funny I am. I'm a little bit more witty, but I wouldn't say I'm funny. And the last reason why I started a podcast, I kind of just wanted to try something new. I feel like this year, it's a new year, which I really want to talk about like New Year's and my New Year's goals and stuff later on in this episode, but I really want to try new stuff when it comes to creating. For the past few years, I've done the same thing. I just post mainly YouTube videos. And this year, I really want to try new stuff and focus on different stuff other than my YouTube videos, you know, short form, posting reels or just posting Instagram posts and taking cool pictures. And I want to focus on like this podcast and making new media because I feel like lately I've just been really bored of what I do. And also, I'm not at the point of my career where I would like to be. And the only way to forward that, I feel like, is to try new things. Because if you want something different to happen, you can't keep doing the same things you've been doing. I feel like I get really scared in this comfortability and the stability of doing like the same type of videos, posting on YouTube, stuff like that, because I'm scared. But this year, I really want to just let go of those fears and try new stuff and see what happens. And who knows, maybe it will flop. Maybe no one's going to watch this podcast, but at least I tried it. I really had a microphone, a sock, and a dream. And that's how this podcast was created. Also, another reason why I didn't originally want to start a podcast, even though I got a bunch of comments. I've always got a bunch of comments like, Dustin, if you start a podcast, like I'd listen to it. I really want to, like a lot of people have asked me to start a podcast. And for years, I was just like, nah, guys, that's not going to happen. I'm sorry, that's not going to happen. And that's because I felt like my YouTube videos were already podcasts. Like if you guys have watched any of my YouTube videos, sometimes I'll do like a video essay type video. Bitch, that's 25 minutes long. That's a podcast. Just watch that. Just listen and watch that. Okay, give me some views on that thing, okay? Because that took hard work to edit. All right. And also I just had other priorities, you know, like posting on YouTube consistently in itself is really time consuming. So I just could not even bear the idea of having a podcast and having to post that weekly as well. But now that I'm focusing on other things, like mainly this year, I want to focus more on like reels and short form and posting on Instagram and stuff like, and also recording music. I have a little bit more free time to do this podcast because my YouTube channel is taking a bit of a back burner. You know what I'm saying? Not that I'm not going to post on YouTube at all. I definitely am, but it's not the number one thing on my mind. But we'll see. We'll see where the year takes us. Okay, I'm going to wrap up this because I'm talking way too fucking long about why I wanted to start a podcast and no one gives a fuck. Like, I honestly don't think men are funny. Like, that's the thing about me. Men don't really make me laugh. I genuinely don't think men are funny, period. But Caleb Heron, he is the exception. He is the exception. I will admit, I think Caleb is funny. You are the only exception. Okay. Also, these are my notes if you're watching the video version of this on YouTube. I recently, and by recently, I mean 2 days ago, started using more notebooks and paper and like handwritten notes and things because I am the type of person who just uses Notion and just writes all their notes and stuff and to-do lists on their computer. And I still do that. Like, I feel like digitalizing that stuff is really useful and efficient for me. I'm trying to lessen my screen time, and I feel like having all of my notes and to-do lists on my computer wasn't really helping that. How I came up with my podcast name, I wanted to get into this. This episode is just going to be a lot of establishing for the podcast. It's the pilot episode, okay? I got to do it. Next week, we'll come with the ball rolling already, and it'll be a lot smoother. But for now, it's the pilot episode. Bear with me. I have to explain things, okay? So that you guys aren't freaking confused and like you guys get the vibe of the space I'm curating for us. So the name of the podcast is Park Your Butt. And I actually thought about this quite a bit ago, like a few months ago, because I was trying to think of other creative endeavors I wanted to do. And an idea I had was to start a celebrity interview show, kind of like Hot Ones, kind of like Chicken Shop Date, and also Royal Court with Brittany Broski. You know, I was kind of exploring that idea. One thing that I love, it's truly the thing I probably adore most, is drives. Specifically, drives with your friends. The windows are down, but the heater is blasted because with the windows down, it's hella cold. It's like a night drive with your friends. You're blasting your music. You're screaming. You're singing with your friends. You're sticking your hand out the window. Okay, like your friends have their head out the window and are just like, you know, like those type of drives that you see in coming of age movies, or like basically those drives that you have in high school when you're just hanging out with your friends and it's like senior year. Those nights are my favorite. And there's some of the memories that I always cherish and look back on and think about all the time. Or even like now, like I still have them. I keep talking about high school as if night drives or drives with your friends are exclusively for high school, but I just keep thinking of coming of age movies. But like even like outside of that, like I still do them now. Just drives with your friend. It's perfect like when it's like twilight or dusk, when it's like sunset time and it's like post sunset time and it just got dark, you know? Like those drives are so magical. And I feel like it's like, I call it the coming of age hour, is dusk. It's like when the sun has set and the sun's gone, but there's still the colors in the sky and it's slowly getting darker to like an indigo, you know? And there's just like this cool breeze and sometimes it's misty, you know? Like though I call that the coming of age hour, and it's like getting dark and you can only see silhouettes. Go on more drives. If you guys are listening to this is your sign to go on a drive with your friends because it's so much fun. It's one of my favorite things to do in the world. Like just go on a drive. Anyway, with that love for drives, I wanted my hypothetical celebrity interview show to be driving related. And that was the concept of the show. And at that point, I didn't have the name yet. So I was like, okay, like what would I name this show? And I was like, it has to be like something car related, something driving related. And that's when I came up with Park Your Butt. Originally, I thought of Park Your Ass because, you know, like, do you know that saying? I feel like white dudes say it to their sons that are like, park your ass when they're in trouble. And they're like, stay put, stay there, park your ass. I thought that was funny. And also it relates to cars because, you know, you park your car, right? And also in the show, you'd be like parking your ass to the seats and talking to each other, you know? But then I thought about it and I was like, maybe that's a bit too vulgar. You know, that's not very brand friendly. So then I came up with Park Your Butt. And that's how I came up with the name, Park Your Butt. And obviously this is now a podcast, not a celebrity show. But eventually that'd be really cool if this podcast developed into that. Also, I think I will have guests on this podcast. So I can still go through with that concept, with those ideas. So yeah, this is kind of my variation of that idea, except now it's a podcast and not like a celebrity talk show. But you know, maybe I'll have celebrities on here one day and then my dreams will come true and this will be the Park Your Butt celebrity talk show that I've always dreamed of up to a few months ago. Also, I just realized I think I was holding my microphone backwards, so sorry if the audio was bad. Okay. Since this is the pilot episode, it is going to be a little bit shorter, but I wanted to at least talk about one topic that wasn't just me explaining this podcast. So I want to talk about New Year's and my goals. And how was my New Year's? Because it is January, the start of the new year. And I really love New Year's. I really love a fresh start. I spent my New Year's in Seattle, which was really fun. I have a few friends there, and one of my close friends recently moved there, so I've been visiting quite a bit. And also, I may or may not be seeing someone in Seattle, so I was visiting them. But I'll talk more about that on Patreon. So if you guys want to hear more about that, go to Patreon, and I'll be talking about that in the extended. I feel like I didn't start celebrating New Year's as in like actually doing something exciting for New Year's and doing stuff instead of just like sitting in my room alone waiting till midnight. Until a few years ago, like I started actually making plans and hanging out with people. I didn't grow up with a lot of friends, okay, guys? So I feel like only last year and this year was when I actually did New Year's, because previously it would just be me and a few friends would just come over and that's all. But last year I was in New York, and also it was my first time getting a New Year's kiss. So that was crazy. And yeah, and this year I also got a New Year's kiss. But I spent it in Seattle, which was also really fun. And actually last year we went to just like a house party. It was pretty chill. But this year, a few friends and we went dancing and we went clubbing, which was honestly really fun. I was wine drunk, the best type of drunk, my favorite type of drunk. You know, I think my favorite type of drunk is when I get wine drunk and then I take just one puff of a cigarette and then I'm good to go. That is my perfect state of going out and dancing. Like I have so much fun with that. I will say I was wine drunk on like rosé, which I feel like I'm more fun on red wine. The nightlife in Seattle, not that poppin', okay? Not that great. At least compared to LA. I think I've just gotten really spoiled. With LA's nightlife because I would just go to WeHo or something with my friends and I fucking love WeHo. I know a lot of people hate it, but me and my friends, we fucking love it. It's so much fun. Like, especially if you go with like a big group and stuff. Like, one time I took like my guy friends and it was like the most fun I ever had. I don't know. Anyway, I think I've just gotten really spoiled with nightlife in LA because obviously nightlife in LA is pretty fun. So in Seattle, in comparison, it just doesn't really match up. Like, it's kind of just not much is going on. It's kind of dead. Also, you have to pay a cover, which I know that's like common everywhere. Even in New York, you have to like pay covers sometimes, but it's just so bizarre to me because in LA, at least at the clubs we were going to, we never had to pay a cover. I feel like when you pay a cover, I'm just like literally the cover. We only went to one club in Seattle. It was called the Unicorn, which honestly was really cool. They had like arcade games and I thought it was a cool small dance floor, I will say. Bro, why was the cover $25? $25? Damn. And you're lucky I was drunk and it's New Year's because you know damn well I would not have paid that. But also all the other clubs were so crowded and the lines were so long that we needed to be somewhere for midnight. I think that's the thing. That's the stressful thing about New Year's is like you have to start drinking early and go out a little bit earlier because you have to figure out where you want to be for midnight. Like, you can't just be leaving at like 11 o'clock, show up to a club, stand in line for like 15 minutes, get in. It's fucking 11 freaking 30, 11:45, right? It turns out the vibe in there's horrible. You don't want to be there anymore. You want to leave, but it's almost midnight and you have to be somewhere for midnight. So I feel like going out for New Year's, it's like a whole fucking plan. It's a whole operation. Like, you have to go out at like 10 o'clock, 10:30 o'clock latest, be somewhere at 11 o'clock. Know the vibe. Like, be like, okay, do we like this vibe, guys? Do we like this vibe? If you don't, you have exactly about 30 minutes to hop to another spot and guarantee that spot is a good spot for midnight. Okay? Because if not, you're gonna freaking miss midnight and the countdown, and you're just gonna be in a random spot out in the streets. All right? And you don't want to do that. You want to be somewhere fun in a crowd full of people with music. All right? So like the whole operation is so stressful and you have to like get up, you start pre-gaming so early. We started pre-gaming at like 8:30. 8:30? Like, what? But yeah, that being said, we ended up at this club called the Unicorn and it was fun. Honestly, the music was kind of like not the greatest. And I will say, I don't know why the countdown was so underwhelming. Actually, was it fun? I want to say it was fun in general because I like to be if I'm with my friends and we're dancing, I'm gonna have fun. One day I want to experience When Harry Met Sally New Year's. You know, I want to go to a very fancy event where everyone is in suit and ties. I want to go to that kind of New Year's party. You know what I'm saying? If you guys have never seen When Harry Met Sally, go watch that shit. Hella good. Hella good. It's the perfect fall movie and it's the perfect Christmas and New Year's movie. But yeah, I don't know. I just really want to go to like a fancy party where we can like dress up and everyone's dressed up and I don't know. Yeah. But overall, New Year's, quite fun. I will say that was like the first time I've seen Seattle actually packed and busy. Like the streets were actually crowded and there was actually lines at the club. Because last time I went out at Seattle, empty. That bitch was empty, okay? Like there was nobody there. Right, here are my 2025 goal. I tried keeping it pretty simple and minimal just so that it can be a little bit more achievable. Like this year, I really want to be on that hustle and grind because last year was supposed to be that hustle and grind year. But you know, life takes you where it wants to take you. You don't really have control of things. And last year ended up being more of a relax, a lot of changes, lots of travel kind of year. That was my year last year. Like, but that being said, last year was still amazing. Like I will say 2024 was really amazing for me. I feel like I did so much when it comes to my life and experiencing life, like all my travels. I also like felt the strongest I've ever felt in my friendships. Like for the first time last year, I felt like I had a lot of friends and I was hanging out with a lot of people and making a lot of memories with them. And that's the first time I've ever felt that strong in my relationships. So while I didn't, you know, make crazy money moves and career moves, I made a lot of life moves. I feel like last year was the epitome of what life is all about, like what the true meaning of life is. That's how I felt last year. All right, let's get into these goals. 4 categories. I have career, fitness, self-improvement, and manifestations. First goal, start podcast. Check. What can I say? I'm starting this year out strong. Next, be consistent with Instagram and Reels. I mentioned this a little bit, but I feel like my focus has always been on YouTube. And I feel like sometimes I'm beating a dead bush because like I feel like YouTube obviously is not the most popular platform these days. It's also super time consuming. And I just feel like I haven't really been reaping any rewards from YouTube. I also just find myself not being as in love with YouTube as I have been before. And I really just want to focus on other things and stuff, at least until YouTube gets its pep back. So yeah, I'm just going to try to make Instagram my main platform. We'll see what happens. This one's kind of stupid, but I want to change my branding to a more professional, artsy model aesthetic. I follow a bunch of accounts where I look at people's feeds and photos and they're just so beautiful. And I want to be that person. Like they emulate this really rich, cool vibe. And I really want to emulate that. I don't know, I want to elevate myself in that way. Lastly, I want to release an EP. I released my first song last year, and I actually released 2 songs last year. And this year, I would like to release an actual project and focus on music a lot more this year. Because I feel like last year, I definitely did for like the beginning of the year. After that, I kind of just put it on the back burner because I was traveling and then I came back home and I was settling in and basically I was just like kind of uninspired as well. Like music just wasn't my main priority, or I wasn't able to grind on that as much as I would like towards the end of the year. So I just want to release an EP this year, and I put a due date, but I'm not gonna say the due date that I want to get it finished by because I want it to kind of be a surprise of when I release it. But yeah, I just would like to focus a lot more on music because I feel like sometimes I put it on the back burner because it's not something that that pays the bills. But I really would like to focus on that this year and make music and songwrite more because I don't write enough and I don't create music enough. And even when I have time, like I'll have like an hour or two. I'm like, okay, Dustin, you should write a song right now, or you should like record vocals right now. And I don't. For some reason, I don't. There's like something holding me back. I feel like I like procrastinate on it a lot. And also I feel like music is this thing that's gonna take like super long. But in reality, like music is something that comes with inspiration and you can work on it little by little. But for me, like I try to like categorize everything into into like business models. And I'm like, okay, Dustin, you have to write the song today, record it tomorrow, produce it the next day, and then be done with it this week. And I'm like, no, like you can take your time on it little by little as long as you're actually working on it. And you don't have to dedicate an entire day to it. But I just have this strange idea in my mind. I think it's just procrastination at the end of the day, honestly. Let's keep this going. Fitness. I want to do the 75-day heart challenge. Yep. I'm going to be one of those guys. I'm going to be one of those annoying guys that does the 75-day heart challenge. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. It's just something I've always been interested in. And I feel like it'd be good for me to build my discipline because I feel like I lack discipline. This past year was definitely a good year fitness-wise. Like I feel like this past year is when I finally have gotten into the groove of fitness and being consistent and being active. Like I joined a climbing gym. I did all that. And last year I was also pondering the idea of doing the 75-day heart challenge. So this year is finally the year that I want to do it. I think I'm going to try to do it in the summertime. So then it will kind of be easier to do the 75-day heart challenge. I was thinking about if I should do it now, but it's wintertime. It's cold outside. And a part of the 75-day heart challenge is that you have to work out for 45 minutes outside. And I just feel like it'll be easier for me if I do it in the summertime when it's warm outside and I'm more motivated and happy. Next fitness goal is get to orange level for climbing. I recently joined a climbing gym a few months back and it's been the newest hobby I've picked up and I really, really love it and enjoy it. And I feel like I've been improving quite a bit for only like 3 months. I'm already at a pink level. And also my climbing gym is a little bit different. It doesn't go by like V1s, V2, V3. It goes by colors and each color kind of ranges. Like a yellow could be a V3 to V5. I think it's kind of a way that my climbing gym wanted to encourage people just to try everything and you never know, just to not like restrict yourself, I guess. But right now I am a mainly yellow level / pink level. So it goes green, blue, yellow, pink, and then so on with other colors. After pink is orange. I think I've kind of mastered the yellow level quite a bit. I can do most yellows, almost all yellows, maybe like one if it's really hard. And then I've been entering the pink level. So I've been challenging myself to like do the pink level of climbings and I've been able to do some. It's been the ones I've been working on. But yeah, I'd be really sick if I was able to master the pink level as well and then start working on orange levels and just enter the orange level for climbing. So yeah, that is my climbing goal this year. And also another goal, I want to gain 10 pounds. I've always been a person who is a hard gainer. Like when I was literally, I think a sophomore in high school or a freshman in high school, I was literally 90 pounds, guys. It was crazy. And we're to the point where I had to go to the doctor and they had to give me Pediasure. They were like, you have to drink this. So I've always been a kid that's just been underweight and has been a hard gainer. I finally, after years and years and years, this past year, 2024, I finally hit my weight goal, which I'm not going to share with you guys because that's like personal to me. But I finally hit my weight goal. Not that I was like actively doing something to achieve that goal. I think naturally my body, with the whole working out thing more, it was just more hungry. So I was eating more. So I naturally just gained to my goal weight. But yeah, I would like to gain 10 more pounds. Next, self-improvement. I want to become charming. Charming is a word that has left my mouth a lot this past year. Like I admire people who are charming so much and I love them so much. Like I feel like they're the best type of people. But also I think being charming is a superpower. I feel like if you're a charming person, it really helps you out in life. And I've always just wanted to become a charming person. So yeah, this year I really want to focus on becoming a charming person because I don't think of myself that way. I think sometimes I'm a little rough and a little bit too strong, and I would like to become a charming person. And I wrote like some more notes for that, specifically for this goal. Be more kind, flirt with strangers. Last year, one of my goals was to be flirty with people, like become a flirt. Failed. Did not do that at all. Maybe like here and there a little bit, but not directly. Like I want to be able to scan a room and like make eye contact with someone and like be a natural flirt. But also I feel like that's a part of being charming is like being able to make people blush and stuff like that. So give more compliments and be a better listener. And then I want to make friends at my climbing gym. That's my last self-improvement goal. I just simply want to make friends at my climbing gym because I joined 3 months ago and I've yet to make a friend there. I don't know why. I think, to be fair, it's a new space for me and everyone is really good. Like everyone's like a fucking master at climbing there. And I get really intimidated to talk to them. And everyone also is in their own groups, talking to their own friends. So that's been a thing. But also that hasn't stopped me before. So I feel like it's also a very inviting space. So I feel like I could definitely make friends there if I just literally said hello to somebody, but I don't even do that. Like someone could be sitting next to me and I make no conversation with them. I'm just like focusing on my project. But I want to be like, "Hello, what's your name? How long have you been climbing?" And then maybe I can make some more climbing friends. I really want my climbing gym to become a second space for me, or a third space for me, and really make it like kind of a second home. I've kind of just been, ever since I moved back home, I've kind of just been hanging out with the friends I already have. But yeah, those are basically all my 2025 goals. I do have a last category called manifestations, which I'm going to share. I don't know if you're supposed to share your manifestations. I feel like people say don't share them so that they come true. But I feel like you have to speak them out loud to the world so that people hear you. Because if people hear your manifestations, maybe they can help you out. Maybe some of you guys out there have connections and can help me make my manifestations come true. To be clear, these are my manifestations, not part of my goals, because I feel like a lot of these are just things that require luck. So I don't have like total control in making come true. But it'd be really cool if it happened. I want to get invited to cool events such as movie premieres and film festivals. I feel like everyone gets invited to stuff but me. I don't know why. Recently, I saw that an AAPI creator YouTube gala happened, and I did not get invited. And everybody and their moms were there. I swear to God, all my friends, like literally so many of my mutuals and friends were there, but me. And I was like, where's my invite? AAPI YouTube gala? And also, I've worked with YouTube before. I've been featured in their official playlist for like AAPI month, and also for their like cosplay playlist or something for shorts. Like I did a house cosplay. I've worked with YouTube. They've sent me stuff. They sent me like weird gifts. Like, I don't know. They never send anything actually that useful. They send when you work with YouTube, they kind of send you like really random gifts. I don't know. But like, I know YouTube knows of me, so why did I get invited to that? I don't know. And like a lot of my friends were there and I was just like feeling FOMO. I was like, why am I not? And I never get invited to those things. So I'm like, wow, I feel very neglected by YouTube. But yeah, other things. I would love to get invited to like movie premieres. I've been to one movie premiere. I was a +1. It was Creed 3. That was really cool. And I would love to just go to more of those, and film festivals. I really love film and movies, and like being able to go to like film festivals would be really cool. It's on my vision board actually that I put. And also I've been working with this brand called Mubi lately, and they're like a movie subscription service, and they have a bunch of foreign films and artsy films and stuff. And they actually invited me to a brand trip, or like a movie festival trip in Chicago, but I was in Australia. So I couldn't go, and I was so sad. And I hope if they ever have something like that again, that they invite me, because that'd be really, really fucking sick. That'd be really cool. I want to get invited to Coachella by a brand. That's another thing. I feel like a lot of people get invited to Coachella for free by a brand. Not me though. I've never gotten invited by Coachella or by any brand to go to Coachella, and that would be really, really cool. I would really love to go to Coachella for free by a brand. Either way, I know I'm probably going to go to Coachella. Like I've been trying to rally my friends to come with me because Lady Gaga's headlining. And also last year, I just had a really good time. So either way, I know I'm probably going to go to Coachella, but going for free would be really sick. And going invited by a brand would be so crazy. Also, I just love live music. And I feel like a lot of these influencers go to Coachella for the clout, you know, like just to show off their outfits, but they don't actually care about the live music or anything. If you're a brand watching this, not only will I show up with fits, unless you're a fashion brand, I'll show up with your fits that you want me to wear. I don't give a fuck. Not only will I show up with fits, stunt in photos, you know, I'll be posting constantly, but I'm also actually there for the music. Like, I'm not the type that's like, I'm not one of those freaking influencers that are like sipping on their fucking Red Bull vodka, even though I do love a Red Bull vodka. You know, I'm not sipping that and just like, you know, no, I'm fucking moshing. I'm fucking jumping. I'm fucking screaming. Please, someone please, brand, please invite me to Coachella. I want to go to New York Fashion Week. Be like everyone and their moms gets invited to New York Fashion Week. Even the fucking people who who don't even care about fashion. I don't know, man. Would love to go to New York Fashion Week. Someone invite me to New York Fashion Week. I want to work with big luxury brands. That's just kind of for fun. I kind of want to do that. I feel like also I could make some really cool videos with that. And also I put such as Calvin Klein. I know Calvin Klein isn't like technically a luxury brand, but Calvin Klein has just been a brand I've always wanted to work with. Specifically their underwear, because first of all, I love their underwear. I basically only have Calvin Klein underwear. I'm wearing Calvin Klein underwear right now. But also I just really admire Calvin Klein as a brand. I've dealt with a lot of problems with my own relationship with masculinity. And when I think of Calvin Klein as a brand, I think of them as masculine. Like Calvin Klein is so masculine. And I look at like the models and stuff and I'm like, wow, like this is the epitome of masculinity. Obviously it's obviously not the epitome of masculinity, but you know what I mean? Like I look at Calvin Klein and I think, wow, masculinity. And I feel like me working with Calvin Klein and specifically their underwear campaign and being like, oh, my Calvins, me and my Calvins, that would heal something in me. Just growing up with seeing those ads and trigger warning, Mark Wahlberg, like that famous video of him walking on the runway for Calvin Klein, or just like, you know, going to the store and seeing like the packaging of like these freaking beautiful people, you know? I feel like that would heal something in me if I was one of those people. Like if I got to post on my Instagram or something like my Calvins, you know, like post a really hot photo of myself, that would heal my inner child actually. Like I don't know. I think that's why I've always wanted to work with Calvin Klein. And there was an opportunity for me to work with them a few years back, but it was for the cologne. I'm going to speed through this. Have a successful EP release with good branding. I do release my EP. I just want it to do well. The dream is to full-time make music, you know, and that would be freaking amazing if like the EP just was successful in some kind of way and that at least some people listen to it. You know, that's all I could really ask for. And also with good branding, like I want to have a whole vibe. I already have an idea of what I want, art cover wise, photo wise, vibe wise for this whole EP era. You know, I have a vibe that I specifically want to curate. So hopefully I can actually pull through with that and do that well. I want to perform live for the first time in concert. I've never performed live before. I have stage fright. Yeah, and I feel like I can never sing in front of people. And I feel like that's not really good if I want to become a music artist. You know what I mean? So I want to perform live at least once this year. And it doesn't even have to be like a crazy concert. Like I'm an opener for someone, even though that'd be fucking cool to be an opener and go on tour with someone. That'd be so sick. That's also a dream of mine. Even like an open mic night at a coffee shop. You know, I want to perform live at least once. This one I'm not going to say because it's like a monetary goal and I just don't want to say that out loud. I want to go on a cross-state road trip and or see more of California in general. So originally this goal was just to go on a cross-state road trip of California just because I've lived in California my entire life, but I feel like I haven't explored a lot of California and I would like to do that. So I told myself I would go on a cross-state road trip. But as of recently, I was thinking about it and I was like, why do I have to make everything so intense? Like, why do I have to do a freaking cross-state road trip that will take me 2 weeks to do? Like, that's gonna be boring as fuck. Not to say like I don't want to do it. Like I still want to do it, but I put the and or see more of California in general because that's the goal at the end of the day. Like, I want to explore more of California, see more cities, go to the national parks because I haven't gone to a lot of the national parks in California, which is crazy to me. So yeah, I want to just see more of California, and if that's in a cross-state road trip kind of way, then that's what's gonna be. But yeah, I don't know why I always like have to like make everything so crazy. Like literally me this past summer being like, I haven't traveled enough. I'm gonna travel the world. And not only that, I'm gonna backpack and stay in hostels. What? What? Like, bruh, you couldn't just choose Europe and be there for 2 weeks? No, and I have no regrets. I want to find love. Yes, I wrote that. I wrote that as a manifestation. I don't know, guys. Like, I'm 22, gonna turn 23 this year. It's like, at this point, bitch, I need to be in a relationship. Like, just to experience it. I don't even care if it, like, lasts a long time. Like, I just need to be in a relationship and be able to be like, yes, I've been in a relationship. Like, honestly, like, I just want that experience to learn, to see what it's like. And also I was talking about it with my best friend Amber recently, where I was like all my friends are dating and stuff. One of my friends is engaged, which is actually fucking crazy. But I was just telling her, like, wow, like, I feel like once everyone gets married and stuff and has kids, I'm gonna be really, really lonely. Cause, like, if I'm going down the trajectory that I am, all my friends by the time we're 30 is gonna be married and have kids, and I'm just gonna be by myself. And I'm gonna be alone. Cause obviously, like, I would love it if, like, I could just constantly hang out with my friends, then I'm not alone. But obviously, when they have families and stuff like that, I know they say, oh, we're not blah, blah. But at the end of the day, like, I know the reality of adulthood and monogamy, and they're going to be focusing on their family, on their partners, on their kids, you know, and I'm just going to be there. And I'm going to be lonely. I'm going to be sad. And I was like, wow, like if I want to get married at the same time as all my friends and like catch up. Oh my God, you scared me, bro. I'm recording, obviously, bro. My sister just scared the shit out of me because these headphones are noise canceling. So if I want to catch up with my friends and get married at the same time as them, my next relationship, I'm going to have to marry them. Obviously, I'm not going to do that. Well, we'll see wherever the world takes me. Like, I was just kind of like saying that. I was like, wow, like, and I've always been the type of person who wants to be in multiple relationships. Like, I mean, ideally, I would like to date a lot of people because I feel like that's fun and that's a big part of life. You get to experience a lot of people. Like, I don't know. I just feel like when I see people who only date one person and are just with them their entire life, I'm like, wow, there's so many people in the world though, you know? To experience and to meet. But obviously, I feel like if you meet the love of your life, you'll be happy either way. But I don't know. That would be crazy if I like meet someone and they're the first person I date and also marry. And then I have to like catch up with my friends. So I get married, you know. Anyway, lastly, I want to spend autumn in New York and spend summer in Seattle and LA. For the past 2 years, have been telling myself I want to sublease an apartment in New York and live there for a month in the fall. And I've yet to do that. Last year didn't happen. This year didn't happen. I was supposed to do it this year specifically, but then I came back from my backpacking travels and I was like, oh my God, I cannot do that. Like, I'm so tired. So next year, or this year is the year. This fall, I'm going to sublease an apartment in New York and live there for a month. And also, I want to spend summer in Seattle and LA just because this past summer was pretty fucking amazing. It was like firelit movie, and I feel like if I don't do anything this summer, it's gonna be really a letdown. So, but I want to start do small. I just want to maybe sublease a place, a room in Seattle 1 month, and then LA the next month. Seattle would be really, really fun, but also LA because I miss my friends and I miss LA a little bit. Also, I need to be somewhere with water, and Seattle and LA have water, and I need a beach. You know, I can't be in my hometown this summer. We have a lake, but you know, a beach is just way better. And those are my manifestations. Next is a segment I'm going to be calling Getting Deep in the Passenger Seat. Shout out Chapel Roan. This is basically going to be a Q&A and advice segment where I answer your guys' questions and give you guys advice. And I ask for questions on my Patreon. So if you guys want to ask a question or something or want advice from something, go to Patreon, ask me there, and I will hopefully answer and get through it all on the podcast. This is from Macy. I was wondering how to move on to a new chapter in your life and dealing with changes in your personal life, whether it's family or relationships, and also how to not regret decisions you make. Moving on to new chapters in your life is not really up to you completely. I feel like naturally it kind of just happens on its own. So when it comes to dealing with changes in your personal life, I think you just have to realize that's what life's all about. You know what I'm saying? Like life is all about changes. Like imagine if your life was the same all the time for years and years. That's boring. I feel like when it comes to how to move on to a new chapter in your life, I guess some things you can do is do something different. That's how to move on. Move somewhere, join something, try a new activity, try a new hobby. That's how to move on to a new chapter in your life, make some new friends, and dealing with the changes in your personal life. It seems like you want the change. You don't really have to think about it too much. Like either way, the changes are going to happen and you're going to have to deal with it and assimilate. And that's just what's going to happen. And how to not regret the decisions you make. I'm the type of person that doesn't really regret. And I think the important thing to remember is like, you will not be where you are right now without the decisions you've already made in the past. So that's kind of how I don't regret my decisions. I also try to think about the good that comes out of decisions I make. So instead of thinking of all the bad things, think of the good things that happened. This is from Skya. Have you always been as motivated and productive as you are with your work? If not, how is overcoming that boundary? I've always been pretty motivated and productive, honestly. I think being Asian, you know, academics have always been a big thing in my household. So that naturally just became instilled in me to be motivated and productive. And I also think working in the entertainment industry, you have to be motivated and you have to be productive because it's not going to be given to you on a silver platter. Like success is not going to be given to you on a silver platter unless you're a Nepo baby. I've always kind of been like motivated and productive. I definitely have my slump days and my slump eras and how I overcome that boundary. I feel like it kind of just happens on its own. There's definitely ways to do that. I definitely think about, first of all, why am I feeling this way? Is it a physical thing? Is it a body thing? Usually that's the case. Usually lately I've been sleeping a lot. Ever since winter started, like it really took a toll on me and I've been sleeping like 9 to 10 hours and I'm like, why the fuck is this happening? This is not good for me. This is affecting me. This is making me sad. I'm oversleeping. So yeah, that was happening. And I think honestly, for the most part, it kind of just went away on its own. Like I think that was probably just the winter seasonal depression thing. But I did try to do some things about that. Like I tried eating healthier. My appetite was also gone, by the way, which didn't help me trying to gain weight. I just tried my best to stick to my diet, to stick to my, meals, eat those. And I started taking vitamin D pills, which I think have been helping. I don't know. Even if it's placebo, I think it's been helping. Drinking more water. I think that's the number one thing of why I've been getting poor sleep and stuff is because I don't drink enough water. So I've been drinking more water. I've been tracking how much water I drink and the meals I'm eating. Like that's a physical thing I've been doing. But yeah, that's just one example of how I overcame a boundary. But like after that, I felt better. Like now this week, I feel so much better after doing all those things. And I'm finally feel like I'm able to like get back on productive grind. Another thing is the thing I mentioned earlier was like I started writing my to-do list instead of just looking at my Notion. That's another way. I think it's just problem solving. That's how you overcome the boundary. Think of solutions and attack them and use them and see what works. And that's how you can overcome that boundary of not being motivated and productive. Also have a goal. Think about your goal. Make a vision board. This is my first year making a vision board. And honestly, I think it's really been helping me so far. It's only been a week into the year, but I put it as my phone screen, as my iPad screen, as my computer screen. I'm constantly seeing my vision board and it's really helping me remind myself when I'm unmotivated, I look at my vision board. I'm like, this is the life you want this year, right? All right, that is it for that segment. I feel like my advice was kind of whatever and like broad, but to be fair, those questions were pretty general. Give me some more questions like, oh, my boyfriend cheated on me. What should I do? Stuff like that. I can answer those. Okay, guys. Feel free to ask me anything like that. Honestly, any question, no boundaries, no limits, ask me. To end off the podcast, this is a segment I like to call On Aux this week. You guys like the names of my segments, by the way? They're all like driving, car related, which I really like, and I think they're cute. So On Aux this week, this is basically gonna be my media and my favorites of the week. So music, of course, but also movies, TV, items, clothing, anything I've been liking this week. So music-wise, let me share. Music-wise, I've been listening to a lot of new SZA, the SOS Deluxe Lana. I've been listening to a lot of Doechii, like Nissan Altima, and Every Day is Like Sunday by Morrissey, I'm Not Them, Them and I, Raven Lene, Love is Blind, and also Love Me Not, Allison by Slowdive. I've been listening to a little bit of McGee and Drive by the Cars, Private Presley, Peach Pit, a little bit of Blood Orange, Star Tripping by Kevin Atwater. I think that's a lot. That's a lot for you guys. That's been on Aux this week. And also movies. I have a lot of movies. Y'all ready? The Apartment, Dee Dee, The Holdovers, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and Anora. Dee Dee was good, but the main character annoyed me so much. Like I hated the main character that it kind of just ruined the movie for me. But it's an Asian American movie. It's based in Fremont, like the Bay Area, and that hits close to home for me. And this era it reminded me of childhood, so I feel like it'd be wrong for me not to share. Gotta support my fellow Asian creatives. And Who Framed Roger Rabbit, hella random, but I went to this like indie theater in Sacramento that I've been meaning to check out for so long with one of my friends, and it was Who Framed Roger Rabbit. And honestly, for a movie made in like the 80s, so good. The writing is so good. It's so funny. The animation is actually quite good, and I love Looney Tunes. I grew up on Looney Tunes, and I love like when Looney Tunes has like a live action with the Looney Tunes in it. It's just so good. It's so good. But yeah, that was what was on Aux this week. I hope you guys enjoyed the first episode of the Park Your Butt podcast, the pilot. I'm sorry if it was a bit rough. I'm trying to smooth out all the edges, but I think next week we'll have it kind of down. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you guys would like to give us a good rating, I say us as if I have a team. It's just me. This is a one-man show. Give us a good rating, a comment, all the feedback you want. Patreon, subscribe to that. And I will see you guys next week. Bye, guys.